Hey everyone, it is Tuesday, April 15th, 2014. This is Talk to Me Tuesday, number 132. Got a few things to show. I'm going to try and make it quick, but my apologies in advance if this is another long one. So let's start with the Sewy bits this week. A recommended video that came up on my YouTube channel last week was called the wet bag. A wet bag, if anybody's not familiar, is just a cloth pouch with a waterproof lining in it. Well, I decided to just make the pouch. I had a bunch of zippers laying around. I think I paid less than $2 for 12 or so zippers at the thrift store. So I pulled a couple of the zippers out and decided to give it a shot. And this is what I have. This is the first one. The only thing, it is fully lined. The only thing I'm not happy with is the way the zipper sits on the sides. It's really rough, and I don't really like that too much, but there it is. I will use it anyway. And then I watched another tutorial thinking maybe I was doing something wrong, and that's why it came out like that. Well, this one didn't turn out much better. It's not as bad as that one, but still, you know, got that little bit of roughness right there, you know. But there again, another fully lined pouch, and they don't take that long to make, so if anybody can point me in the direction of a tutorial that I can watch that'll actually eliminate that roughness on each side, that would be great. If you know how to eliminate it and you can just tell me in a message or whatever, that would be great as well. But there's two little zippered pouches, and they'll come in handy for small knitting work or crocheting work or even kind of cross-stitch pieces to go in. The next little stitchy thing, sewy thing. This is another thing that came up on my Facebook page. It was for a felt bunny. And I looked at it and I said, oh, that's really cute. You know, I think I'll give it a shot. And I asked my daughter to trace the pattern. We actually had to shrink it down. This bunny is not as small as what we made it. This is probably a pretty good size. You'd need the longer sheet of paper to be able to print it out. But rather than print it out and use up a bunch of black ink, she just traced around it. So this is my bunny. He looks like this on one side, looks like that on the other. I actually wanted the polka dots to be on the opposite side of each other, but it didn't work out quite that way. Oh well, no biggie. So there's my bunny. Normally when I work with felt, I stitch it by hand. I find that sometimes with felt it tends to move and shift when you're sewing it on a sewing machine, but that's okay. My daughter actually made one too, but I don't know where hers is, probably upstairs in her room. And she got the two pieces together, and then I stitched the whole thing together the rest of the way for her. So, but there's my little bunny. He's cute. Another little Easter thing. If I think about it and I can remember where it is, I'll put the link in the description if you're interested. The next thing for stitch work, sewing, is paper piecing. First off, we'll show you the April block for the paper piecing vintage. And that's here. I like the way this came out. I think it came out really good, actually. I was surprised it actually went together the first time without having to, you know, pull it apart and start again. This area right here, it did slide just ever so little on the one end, but so slightly that it wasn't worth pulling it all out, starting again, because it was a little sliver. So I just squared it up, and there it is. So there's my April block done. I still have to do the signature block. I have not yet chosen the fabrics I'm going to use for it. That's the only thing holding that up. Now the next two paper piecing blocks, of course, are for my little whatever it's going to be project. And I have mentioned a couple times I spend more time choosing the fabric than I actually spend working on the blocks. Well, I decided when I was doing these blocks I was just going to pull a bunch of fabrics. I had two blocks, make two separate piles, and use whatever it was that I had pulled for fabric. I think I'm going to stick to spending the time looking through and actually pulling fabric rather than just, oh, you know, we'll use this, and, you know. I'm not too happy with this first block. I've kind of toyed with the idea of redoing this block in different colors and using the block I've actually made for like a practice piece for some, you know, for the binding and the quilting. But here it is. This is called Geometrics. Like I said, I'm not really happy with it. It doesn't have that, you know, that whatever, but there it is. I still haven't decided if I'm going to use this as a practice piece or actually put it in this piece. So you may see this block come up again, done totally differently. We'll see. And then the next one is called Log Cabin. They didn't give this one any special name. I don't mind this one, but it's still not what I would want it to be. I am going to use it in this little project because it's colorful. But there again, I think I am going to stick to taking the time to choose the fabrics. So 2 more blocks. What will happen with this one is still up in the air, but that's 16 blocks completed. So we'll see. Excuse me. Next up is knitting, and we might as well get the socks done and over with. My daughter had asked me to make a pair of socks for her. She had chosen 3 different yarns. We actually started out using the Red Heart Super Saver in Heartfelt. It was looking kind of big, and I said to her, I can frog it, and I can start over with a smaller needle, or we can frog it entirely. You can choose one of the other 2 yarns. She decided to go with one of the other 2 yarns, and it was the Caron Simply Soft in Oceana. So here are her socks. They are complete. They do look a little big, but my daughter is like me. She likes to have room in her socks, and these actually fit her feet perfectly. They actually fit her feet perfectly. They're not too tight, they're not too big, so there's another pair, and this of course is made with the pattern I came up with that uses the Caron Simply Soft in the Fish Lip Kiss heel. So there's that. The only thing I have to do, of course, is sew in the ends, take pictures for the sock along, and then she'll get them. The next, I started another pair of socks. I don't remember if I actually showed this or just mentioned it, but I have the knit calendar a day. I don't know what year it was for because it doesn't say, and I don't have the calendar right here, but it's a calendar that, you know, you actually have patterns for like each day. Some of them carry over because of the length of the pattern, but this is the Great and Powerful Oz socks. So there's the sock itself and what it looks like. And a while back I had received a package from Debbie Do To You that had some absolutely beautiful fabrics and yarn and stuff in it. And one of them was the Lion Brand Sockies, and it's this, and it's in Lemon Drop. And when I saw this and I thought of that pattern, all I could think of is a Yellow Brick Road. So what better yarn to use to make Great and Powerful Oz socks than Lemon Drop? Here it is. It's kind of hard to see the pattern, but there it is. Of course, I've switched the heel to the Fish Lips Kiss heel. I'm actually working on the foot of the sock now. So you will possibly see a completed pair of socks next week. I'm not sure. We'll see. I have a couple other things that I have to get done, one of which won't take really any time at all, but, you know, I need to get it done. So there's socks. You know, did say I'd have another pair of socks completed this week, didn't I? The next and last thing I'm going to show, this is called the 10-Stitch Zigzag. This is a pattern that is actually a really cool pattern. I've done one of this person's patterns before. It was the little pouch that you opened it up and it was like a little box. You let it go and it drops down into an almost flat little pouch. Well, this is the 10-Stitch Zigzag. This is just a little practice piece, but this is it. You work this zigzag pattern, and it's a zig is up and a zag is down. You work it to whatever width you want, whatever you're making to be. Then you go back and you work your zig and your zigzags right on top of your other zigzags. So it's really cool. You have this little ridge here, and then this side where the ridges is smooth, but then it alternates. So this ridge will be, when I do the next zigzag, it'll be smooth on this side and you'll see the ridge on the other side. But it's really neat. They actually have one that goes in a circle and they have one that goes in a square. I'll probably try those out too. But this is just a little practice piece to see how it's done. I'll probably just make a couple more rows and then call it quits and use it for, you know, just like a hot pad or something. But it is kind of thick. So there's that. You'll see more done on that next week, I'm sure. Maybe even completed because it goes really, really fast. So other than that, I think that's it. Video is long enough. It takes time to get it edited and uploaded when they're too long, so I like to try and keep them short. So that being said, I look forward to watching everyone's videos. I hope you all have a wonderfully crafty week and a wonderfully crafty weekend. As for me, I'm out of here. As for you, it is good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, whatever it is. I really do hope it's a great one. I will see you all next week. Bye.